All right, hello and welcome to Show of Hands Hangout number 48. We have a very small group today, but I think it'll be good. They are good people. I'll have you quick introduce yourselves, say who you are on the app, what you want us to call you, and we're probably honestly just going to jump straight in because I had a warm-up question and then I forgot it and then I remembered it and it was better forgotten. So
You need to start writing these things down.
I have a notebook with seriously just pages of random stuff. I just didn't write this one down. I write a lot. Okay, start with Annie.
Hi, I'm Annie. You can call me a vegetarian if you really want to. I'm from Wisconsin. I think that's it. I'm ready to jump right in.
Cool.
All right, I am ronderman on the app, and I am from North Carolina. So I guess we're saying our state, that works. And I am ready to jump right in.
And I am Firefly5 on the app or Guyton in real life, and I am in Michigan. And also going to jump in. So let's see. A drug is developed. We've got some questions because there weren't. Well, I'll do the questions that were posted first. There weren't very many questions tonight. Obviously, we're competing with a debate, and everyone's out there watching a debate.
No,
It's a debate.
let's be honest. We're going to be much more entertaining.
Yeah,
and
probably.
learn a lot more, and we'll be much more honest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think we'll probably answer more questions.
Probably.
Yes. Just dance around them.
But we could have a nice debate section where we accuse each other of doing bad things and just completely lie for about 5 minutes. That'd be fun.
Actually, be pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it. Jenna 528 asks, did you watch any of the debate earlier this evening before the show? And yeah, she asked two questions, so that's the first one.
I did not. I don't know. I'm not really. I find the Republican debate to be a lot more entertaining. And when it's just like the primaries, I'm more focused on my entertainment value. But I did watch Scream Queens instead, which is definitely a lot more entertaining than I think Hillary or Bernie Sanders could give me. And I've been seeing them on like the late night talk show circuit, so I think I've had enough of both.
So why would the Republicans be more entertaining than the Democrats?
Donald Trump.
He is getting a lot of viewers. So
And
it was the Trump factor.
And there are straight up more of them.
Yeah, so there's like definitely different personalities going on. You have like the fringe people, and then you have Rand Paul in there, who's a little bit different, but then they like love to beat up on him, so it's interesting to see. It's like almost like high school over again.
Yeah, that's a decent description.
Well, I didn't watch any of it because after I put the kids to bed and the wife went to bed, I came downstairs and couldn't find the remote.
Hey.
So, I mean, that's why I didn't watch TV. Now, I can't promise I would have turned on the debate had the TV been on. I probably would have watched something off the DVR. But, yeah, I just sort of sat in here and watched the iPad.
Does your phone work as a remote?
No, I have not gone to those links. That's probably not a bad idea because there is an app for that. But, I'm too lazy for that. I'm a stay-at-home dad. It's not like I have things to do, you know. There's laundry, you know. I got to feed the dog, dishes, you know.
No, I hear that. My kids over the last 3 weeks or so have started about 5 new activities.
Ooh.
I actually had to schedule everything into program everything into the calendar on my phone because I just couldn't keep track anymore.
Are they starting sports?
My boy started Scouts and Taekwondo, and then my one girl is doing gymnastics. They swim. They do. It's a lot of stuff that happens all at once.
Sounds about right.
That's
You're
fun.
you're you're in that early stage where you do a shotgun approach and whatever sticks, then you're gonna
Yeah,
stick with it. So I'm just about to the point that I can tell what each kid's gonna do. So
perfect. Oh, I also didn't watch anything tonight. It's been a very long day, uh, and I just at least one of my kids is still awake. Uh, one of them is not pretending to be asleep. The other one is kind of pretending to be asleep, and the third one's probably been passed out for a couple hours. Because she runs hard all day long, and it's just a lot for her.
Remember
It was
those old
also
days?
what's that?
I remember those old days when I used to play four sports at one time. So I was a cheerleader, I played basketball, I did track, I did volleyball, club volleyball, all at the same time. So I was busy.
That's a
wow.
lot.
And I used to ride my bike all the time.
That is a lot.
And
That's
then
fun.
we used to like take pit stops at the McDonald's nearby.
Because sometimes you have to.
Right, just chocolate shake. Oh, and
Mm,
then my friend had a paddle boat, so we went paddle boating.
Nice.
Get stuck on like the island in the middle of the pond. So old days.
I did. I played sports in high school and stuff, but most anything that I did, there were too many practices to do more than maybe two things at a time. Like we would, what was it? Rugby. We practiced every day for a couple hours a day, um, and it was always the couple hours, right after school. And it's not like practice for other sports starts hours after that. If they're through the school, they pretty much all try and go for that same time slot. I don't know.
yeah, I never did school sports.
No?
No, I played baseball as a little kid, and then a year or two of football. Um, but I'd never played soccer. But when I moved after my eighth grade year, and my high school had a world class soccer team. They had at the point where I went joined the school, they held the national record for straight wins. I think it was like 105 or something like that. And so that lots of state championships. And so there was no way for me to pick up a new sport and get on that team. So I wasn't going to play football because nobody played football. So I wasn't going to work that hard to
Yeah.
lose every game. So
No, my football team in my high school, they lost 5 straight seasons in a row. And then after that I graduated, they finally won like one game against like a rival town, like a rival school. And so it was like never fun to go to games because I mean they wouldn't just lose, they'd lose like 56-0. Like it wasn't even like it's like they wouldn't even get on the scoreboard. So
Uh,
kind of
yeah,
depressing.
we had a whole lot better attendance at the soccer games than we did the football games. It was very, very strange for me. So as a matter of fact, before I moved there, I lived in a football city. Um, on my little league football team, I had a guy who played for Duke, a couple who played for Clemson, um, and a guy who ended up playing for the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
no.
So, and someone who played on that team also just became interim football coach at South Carolina after Streeter quit.
Oh, someone from my hometown played on the Seahawks team that won a couple of years ago.
So yeah, I was the little white guy that ran the plays in and out. I didn't get a lot of playing time, but it was better than baseball at that point.
Yeah. Um, have you ever been on a trip to the mountains and unplugged for a few days?
I've been to the mountains, but not for like a few days. It was kind of like you spend a few hours there and just be in nature. But I've spent more time in like, I don't know, some dry areas, some like wooded areas. I've more like done more unwinding by like a peninsula up north where there's a lot of snow and you just go hiking and like 3 feet of snow and it's bitterly cold, but that's actually some of like the best nature I've had
Mm-hmm.
by Lake Michigan.
Now, by unplugged, does that mean we have no internet, no anything? I mean, it's not just get away, right?
I think that she was absent for the whole time, so I think it's like get away, get away. Because she was like, I'm back. So I think she means like
Yeah.
you in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Where my wife works, the hospital owns a retreat up in the mountains, and they will rent it to physicians for a very reduced rate. And so we take a bunch of friends up there 2 or 3 times a year, and there's nothing up there. You can't get internet or TV or anything. So we'll bring a projector up there and watch the movies with the kids, maybe the Wii, but that's about it. So yeah, we do that. We enjoy that.
That's really cool. Can we join you? That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Come on
She's
down.
gonna have the show of hands party.
Yeah, I think it sleeps 17 or something like some crazy number like that. So yeah, we can squeeze lots of people in there.
What are
Your
you
closest
Here,
17 followers.
Here, come say hi.
What's up?
Hello.
Good talk.
Yeah.
Time to go to bed, buddy. Love you. Good night.
Good night.
Make sure you shut your doors, okay? Go, go, go. Don't. No. No, it's time to... Buddy, buddy.
I promise that I won't.
Yeah, see, he muted himself so he could curse at his son.
Right. Sorry. Get your butt to bed now.
That's right. Don't make me get out of this chair.
I have show of hands to do.
That's right. This is a big show.
Right. We're competing against heavyweights today. Hillary
That's
Clinton.
right. We're trying to read your lips and decide what you're saying to your son.
Telling him that I don't want to give him scissors and that he should go to bed. He's the one who doesn't pretend to go to sleep at any reasonable time. He's in his room and he's quiet, but he doesn't go to sleep like at all. And I can't blame him too much because I was the same. Like I could never fall asleep easily. So as long as he's responsible about it, I guess. Julie and I went to Marquette in the AUP a few weeks ago, and that was probably as close as we've come in a handful of years to really unplugging. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was, I mean, not mountains, but hills. There aren't that many, mountains in this area.
Right.
But there are lakes. They're really big ones.
Many lakes.
And that's fun. Let's see. Tendrous asks, have you ever gotten sleep paralysis?
I haven't.
No, I've never even known anybody to get sleep paralysis.
I see commercials for it, like for medication for it or whatever.
No, but the side effects for the medication look worse than the actual condition.
Right, but no, that's it. But now I've been seeing a lot of commercials for like IBS and like for a problem that I've always talked about why I never ever take really painkillers ever is because you get really constipated with it. And now I'm finally seeing like commercials to help with the constipation that comes from using like opiates. And I've been like talking about that for years, and maybe somebody finally listened to me.
No, really? You talk about poop and stuff?
Right.
We made it, to 10:24 tonight. That's
I know. I know. But that's what I've been seeing. It's like between that, sleeping, like men's medication.
Yeah, I love
saturate my TV.
I love to listen to those fast talkers at the end of the commercials telling you the side effects. We can get rid of your toenail fungus, but you may have blisters and ingrown toenails, and your toes may fall off, and gangrene, and
You might die. Just like
exactly.
even
But-
death.
But we'll fix the fungus. So
Dude, the side effects always for anything where you're like, I would actually take medication for that. I wouldn't just wait it out the extra couple days. For anything like that, the side effects are always like drowsiness, seizures, or anal leakage. It's not worth it.
yeah, I'll put up with the fungus. I'll put socks on.
Yeah, yeah. I might cut the toe off.
Exactly.
I think I would take that. I don't know. Let's see. Alki asks, except for there it is. PB&J or grilled cheese?
That's an easy one.
That's tough.
Love a good PB&J.
You can do a lot with the grilled cheese. I love peanut butter and honey. That's actually like one of my favorite sandwiches ever is nice peanut butter and honey. But I love to eat grilled cheese with tomatoes. You can put anything in a grilled cheese. Avocados. I don't know. I put a lot of stuff in my grilled cheese.
Wow.
We do onion and grilled cheese.
Well, that'd be pretty good too.
Really?
It's a lot better than it sounds. But Julie does potato chips in PB&J.
I've done that.
That
Oh,
while,
never done.
while I thought that it was a crazy idea and that it didn't make any kind of sense, then I tried it, and the crunch is really nice. And if you do that and then grill the whole thing, it might be perfect. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not like a Reuben type of thing, but as far as a sandwich that you have all of everything you need for right now, it's pretty solid.
So a
There's this-
grilled PB&J.
There's this place in Milwaukee that they have. It's called AJ Bombers, and they have like a really, really intense grilled cheese. It's like tomatoes, bacon, like a ton of bacon. That's what like it's known for. Is like they just love bacon there. And I know people who like love that like just a ton because they love bacon. But I think that leaves people really satisfied, bacon and cheese.
Nice. I like it. If you were guaranteed 3 honest answers from any one person, who would you question?
Ooh.
And you can go first on that one, Annie.
I don't know. That's really tough.
Yeah, I got mine.
Oh yeah, go.
My wife's uncle is retired 4-star general.
Oh,
Actually, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs. So he has lots and lots of knowledge that he can never say. But I would pick my questions carefully. But I would ask him questions. I would probably start off with like Area 57. Tell me about the aliens. Then maybe go towards the Kennedy assassination. Do you know anything about that? That type thing. I'd hit all the conspiracy theories and find out what all he knew. I keep hoping he'll go senile one day and he'll forget that he's got to not tell us these things. But we'll see.
oh man, that's a good one.
Yeah, I would want to ask presidents questions. Like George Bush, if you really knew about 9/11 or whatever, the 9/11 conspiracies behind that. Or, let's see. I don't know. I feel like I'd want to ask Fidel Castro questions, just because he's always interesting.
That would be a good one.
About like the revolution and everything. So, some questions about Che. Che is really interesting to me, so I probably want to ask him a few questions about that.
Mm-hmm. I know the one to immediately pop into my head was Kim Jong-un, except the immediate thought right afterwards was, well, he'd give me 3 honest answers, but I don't think I'd live very long after that.
Then he'd kill you.
And I think that would be true for a lot of high-powered people, honestly. Like with your wife's uncle, it works out because But even with a president, I feel like that's the sort of thing that would get you to disappear fairly quickly afterwards. So I would be concerned about that. So I don't know. I think it might be interesting to get three honest answers from someone that you know, like that you interact with a lot. But I don't know if you'd necessarily want three honest answers there either.
Yeah, because I was thinking about my mom, but I feel like you probably like if my question I didn't like the answer, I'd be like depressed for the rest of my life. I'd want to ask the Pope some questions.
It'd be a good one.
hmm
It'd be
And he
really
probably wouldn't kill you, I don't think,
Yeah, I would hope not.
afterwards.
Hope I wouldn't disappear from that one.
He
Yeah.
doesn't seem that type.
I hope not.
But what sorts of questions do you have? Well,
Hmm.
no, I actually very deliberately didn't ask for what questions you would ask,
Yeah,
because I think that's a much harder question.
hmm
yeah.
Do you ever miss the ladies? That probably wouldn't be a good question to ask the Pope. A little bit, no.
I wonder if the Pope has like groupies, like
That's
because
what I'm wondering.
Oh, I'm sure.
that would throw themselves at the Pope. I mean, I'm not Catholic, so I just surely there's got to be some women out there that would.
Like the Pope. I mean,
Yeah.
that was how it was back in the day, you know?
hmm
Well,
Well, women are
Charles
attracted to
Manson,
power. He's got lots of power.
if Charles Manson has groupies, then I've got to imagine that, an actual that the Pope would have groupies. It just
I don't know about the last Pope. He was like 80. He was kind of old, so
they could be old groupies.
yeah,
Yeah.
90-year-old groupies. I don't know how I feel about mental images like that popping up, though.
Uh, let's see. I keep going back to this same page, and it's not a helpful one. Would you rather eat a live frog or a dead rat? The dead rat has fur.
Oh.
Whoa. Oh, God. I hate rats so much. Oh, my gosh. Rats are my worst fear, rats and mice. I literally, cringe every time I see them, so it'd have to be a frog. I can't even look at, like, a mouse without, like, almost crying.
Would it change if your option instead of a live frog was a live, like, hairy spider?
I'd probably still choose the spider.
Wow.
I mean, it's that bad. It's really bad.
Well, I figure I eat spider legs and stuff with my regular food all the time anyway, right? So, yeah, I'd go for one of those itty bitty little tree frogs. I'd pop that sucker down, nice big glass of milk, and feel them swimming around and be perfectly fine. I got no need to eat fur off of anything, much less a rat.
I'm right there with you. I barely care how big the frog, except for those frogs that they show you in pictures where it's like most of the size of a person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, not that you could eat that alive anyway. There'd be no way.
Yeah, I don't want a frog that could put its hands around my neck to try to keep from sulking. But
No, I couldn't. Not a rat. Not a rat. Gross, gross, gross. I would probably cry, Because like I watch horror movies and like that's like definitely like a horror movie thing is like rats everywhere. And I'm sort of like, I can't watch. Stop.
Right.
I almost cry every time.
Uh,
One time a mouse got stuck in my back. That's actually the reason why I hate rodents so much is that I was at school and like how like our cafeteria was set up, it was like there's windows everywhere and there's doors everywhere, so people walk in and out all the time. Well, one time a mouse like crawled into my backpack, and I like came home, like put my backpack down. I took a nap. All of a sudden, I feel something like crawl up my arm, and I like swatted it off. And I was like, oh, maybe it was just like my hair on like the hair tie that. And then all of a sudden, I hear like crinkling, something walking in like a pile of newspapers, and I was like, got up, ran out of bed. I was like, Mom, I think there's a mouse in my room. Please help me. And sure enough, I had a mouse that crawled into my backpack.
we once had a bat in my apartment, but that was I don't know. It wasn't a huge deal to me anyway. To someone else, it was a much bigger deal. but we don't have
Oh, well, bats, at least down here, you've got, if there's a bat anywhere near you in an enclosed area, you got to get rabies shots and all sorts of stuff. Is that the case where you guys are?
um, maybe, I don't know.
I
This,
never hear about bad stuff, so
yeah, we don't really have. Maybe they do in different places, but around like right here, I haven't heard of anyone having bats in their house.
because usually like if like there's a bat, it's gonna be on like the local news. Like somebody will like call it in because it's like so weird. I think I've seen like bat stories on the news. So
Yeah, you'll see them down here all the time. My best friend's got actually I'm going to call it a bat house, kind of like a bird house,
Yeah,
but on the outside of his shed. And the bats come in there and live in there. And then throughout the summer, they feed on all the mosquitoes. So it keeps the mosquito population down around his house. But he's not had any inside the house. But we'll go out there and there'll be bats flying around all over the place.
that's really cool.
that was interesting.
Uh, you find a large book at the library. Annie, you might have been on when we asked this question before.
Maybe.
Um, you find a large book at the library. You're flipping through it, and it turns out to be the story of your life. You get to the current moment. The next chapter title is covered by a sticky note that says, "Spoilers ahead." You keep reading.
What does the sticky note say?
Spoilers ahead.
Spoilers ahead.
Do you
I'd
keep-
probably skim it.
Yeah?
I'd probably briefly skim it and then see if there were like keywords that I liked or disliked. And if not, I'd close it.
Yeah, I'd just be worried that the next chapter would be the last chapter. You know, that'd be my biggest concern. You know, if I still had like half the book left, I'd feel good. You know, but if I only had like one chapter left, I'd probably want to peek at that to see if I could avoid it. But
Um, I
Yeah, I hope I'm like midway through. I mean, not midway, but like I'm only 22, so I better have some time left.
uh, I think I'd want to read the chapter title, but I don't know if I'd want to do any more than that. And I wouldn't even really want to read the chapter title. I'm not about spoilers, even in like movies and books and stuff that don't have anything to do with me. Um, and I think I think it would be too much um, running through my head, and even reading like one sentence type of thing. I feel like that would mess with me forever, and try to see if I could change it and how it would. And then I'd have to go back and read the book again and see if it changed in the book. It'd be a problem for me. I think I wouldn't even read, up to the current moment. It would be too much.
or that conversation's reminding me that next week is Back to the Future Day. Have you guys watched Back to the Future?
Years and years ago.
Well, in Back to the Future Part 2, he goes into the future. He goes into the year 2015 to October 23rd or something like that, whatever day Wednesday is,
Okay.
or a week from tomorrow is Back to the Future Day. So in the movie they had hover cars and like the hoverboard, the skateboard that was hovered, and so anyway.
They'd have to work fast to get there, but
Exactly. So my daughter's old enough to watch it, so I let her watch it a couple weeks ago, and I said, that's coming up in just a couple weeks. So
cool. I think those movies are always funny because if they don't put it far enough into the future, then you're always like, wait a second.
Yeah.
but it was funny to see the different cars that they put in the movie, because they were like Ford Probes with just extra things on them. So looking back, I can see that's a Ford Probe from back in the early 90s, with like an extra bumper or something. But they were, back then they were just so futuristic and just so cool. But it's fun to watch at least that section of the movie to see what they thought today's life would be like 30 years ago. Before either of you were born. Yes, I am. So.
That's all about Back to the Future every time, because obviously I'm from like where there's a ton of Packers fans, but then you have like the slew of Bears fans because Chicago's like right by, and they'll be like, "What's the difference between Chicago Bears and Marty McFly?" They'll be like, "One stopped going back to 1985," because so that's a big thing, because it's either that or like Jay Cutler sucks. So different Jay Cutler memes. So that always makes me laugh.
We don't, with the Lions not being really any kind of good over the last couple of decades. I'm sure that there are rivalries, but I couldn't even tell you with whom.
Maybe just divisional ones.
Yeah, it's like, is it a rivalry if one team always wins?
Yeah, it's still because like Packers and the Bears, Jay Cutler is pretty awful, but we still get like really into it. Like we still take it really seriously, regardless of how many times Jay Cutler has not beat us. Like as a whole.
But there was a time before Jay Cutler that the Bears, would win from time to time.
Yeah. But mostly they haven't. So. But yeah, there's a time where like the Packers weren't really that awesome, but there's still like even if like one team just dominates you, there's still like a rivalry because like Bears fans and Packers fans always like to talk crap to each other, and so.
I heard a piece on NPR yesterday, maybe the day before, about what was it? The rivalry between the Cubs and Cardinals, and they said it was probably the most civil rivalry in sports because. The Cubs never, ever win. That they lost something like the last 11 or 12 head-to-heads, and that like it was just this big long thing, and they said, and now they're playing each other, so maybe this rivalry will turn into something.
Yeah, because the Cubs won, so.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel kind of bad for Cubs fans because they're really devoted. Because actually, it's more like out here, like the Cubs have a stronger like following out here than like the Bears do. Because like there's like half my family are like they're Cubs fans and the other half are like Brewers fans. But the Brewers have never really been like that good. But now the Cubs are finally really good and they're like living in the moment right now where they're like, oh, we're finally winning.
Yeah.
Because like the Cubs were actually pretty good this year. Brewers lost to them, so.
But down here in North Carolina, we're in basketball country. So you have Duke and UNC, who are the big rivalry.
Yeah.
And then you've got North Carolina State, where I went to school, and we try to pretend that we have the rivalry. And I compare it to the little kid brother who wants to play with the big older brothers, and the older brothers just kind of put up with them, So we can say that there are rivals, but our rivalries, I think, really has to be a two-way street. So we are beneath their rivalry, but
NC State did pretty well. I remember like a few years ago in the ACC tournament, they went pretty far.
Yeah, well, our new coach has taken us to the Sweet 16 a couple times, but as far as the inner ACC play,
it's definitely Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah, they're the
when teams like I feel like most states, teams like NC State, Clemson, or NC State and what am I thinking? Wake,
yeah.
Most states, those would easily be your top two teams, and you just happen to be in a place where it's.
And of course, they suck up all the good talent. And, So.
Yeah, it's. I think. I don't know. Sometimes I think being NC State is kind of like being Scottie Pippen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like.
You're always overshadowed by Michael.
Yeah.
At least you guys have Coach K. I love Coach K.
Yeah, he's a love him or hate him down here. So
no, that's what I asked my question about Christian Laettner. I was like, how many people hate Christian Laettner still? And it was overwhelmingly hate Christian Laettner. I'm like, and it's been like 23 years. So The hate was real.
Yeah, those that don't hate Christian Laettner don't know who Christian Laettner is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
probably true.
got to watch him play at Duke, so
You got to?
yeah, that was back in my
You're hated.
era.
I would have been happy to see him play because he kind of sucked once he got professional. So
Him and Bobby Hurley, and
yeah,
that was when I was in school back then.
I would have loved that.
Back in my day, when we watched basketball and we liked it.
I had I didn't have anything like I didn't go to a school that had these phenomenal sports teams or anything. But when I was in high school, I saw LeBron playing at his high school,
That's
and
cool.
that just like high school sports shouldn't be as exciting as that. But um, I think I will forever view him as just this incredible athlete because well. Well, he is that good of an athlete, but he's like someone that big shouldn't be able to be that fast.
Right.
That doesn't make any. Um, you watch him play and forget that he's like 6'8". He's a huge dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is.
Uh,
I watched him play on Fallon. It was he and like Fallon had like sweatbands and they had put a plastic little hoop on there and they were playing off each other. And like LeBron was actually like sitting down trying to shoot hoops into Jimmy Fallon like standing up with his little hat on.
yeah, I saw that one. Um, questions, right. If you could become invisible, but every morning there was a 10% chance you'd be. If you could become invisible, but every morning there was only a 10% chance you'd be able to switch back, would you do it? Run.
Does that only last for 24 hours, and then the next morning it restarts? And
Yeah, you're invisible from now until the morning, and in the morning there's a 10% chance that you'll be visible again. And
but you figure in 10 days you'd be visible at some point, right?
statistically, maybe.
I don't know. Being invisible doesn't really appeal to me that much. I want my wife to see me. I want my kids to see me. I'm not at the point in my life where that's a big draw, I guess. And back when I was in college, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. But at this point, I'm good.
It'd be kind of like owning a Ferrari. Like it'd be really, really fun for an amount of time, and then at some point you're just driving 35 in a Ferrari.
Exactly.
Right. I think I'd want to do it like once or twice, and that would probably be it. Because it'd probably be pretty boring after a while, because like a lot of stuff I do, like I don't know if it's a weekend, like there's people around, so I wouldn't want to be invisible while people are at the bar. I'd feel really creepy, like going dancing and I'm invisible. I don't know if that's my thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think parts of it would be really fun for a very short amount of time.
Like
And
I'd want to pull pranks.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, pretty much.
It would be advantageous if you were a celebrity or something like that. So who knows if this Hangouts thing really takes off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could
Maybe.
be on Good Morning America. Good morning, show of hands.
And so then you'd want to be invisible so the paparazzi couldn't see you, or something like that. But I'm pretty much anonymous as it is. So
What if you could become invisible to all but a handful of people, 5 people of your choosing?
Can you change your 5 people throughout the day, or are they like set for like that time?
They're set for the day.
Yeah, I think this would be more for introverts. I'm just not an introvert. I get my energy from other people. I want to be seen. I want to be talked to. If I were invisible, I'd just blow my cover by wanting to talk to everybody.
But I think that'd be kind of funny if you were invisible to everyone else. Because have you guys ever seen Black Mirror?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's a TV show, like one like the Christmas special is that like there was part of it where people could just be invisible. Like if you did something wrong, they like made you invisible to the entire world. Well, like if you could imagine like having conversations with people, like somebody would literally, if you're invisible to the entire world, they would like I don't know if your mom or whatever talked to you, like they'd be talking to someone who knew like no one knew was there. They'd just be like talking into air, and that'd be kind of funny to me, but I don't know.
Also, like what is it? Gaius Beltar in Battlestar, how he's always talking to Six, but she's.
Right.
I could see that. He does it well, though, because
Mm-hmm.
he always tries to say things that could be taken both ways.
Yeah, it's always fun to see her seducing him, and he's the only one that knows that she's there, and
Mm-hmm.
those are always fun scenes.
And he played that part so well.
Mm. He did. He was a much better Baltar than the original. Did you ever watch the original?
I didn't. It was highly recommended that I never do so.
Yeah, you really have to look at it as a completely separate entity, and it's more of a parody now than anything else. So, looking back, because the special effects are back from the 1970s, and the acting is from the 1970s, and it's just sad. It's just sad.
I've been rewatching the series while running because I load shows and movies and stuff onto my phone and just set my phone up on the treadmill and run.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's what I'm watching right now. So I'm 6 or 7 episodes in, but I'm always really excited about it. I'm like, I kind of want to do a double run tonight because I know I want to watch the next 2 instead of just the next one.
Uh-huh.
So I like that. I like it a lot. I think it's such a good show too, and it's nice. I'll look up and realize, oh no, my show's almost over. Oh, I guess I ran a few miles. It's a really nice distraction. Would you? Fat Shadow was on when this one came up. Would you rather have sultry porno music play every time you enter, or every time you try and make a romantic advance, or lose all sexual inhibition in the presence of melon?
Of a melon?
Yep.
Okay, what kind of music?
Sultry porn movie music. Every time.
Ironically, that's what I turn on anyway. So, it would save me a step.
I was gonna say, and as far as the melon thing goes, keep in mind, like every time you go to any sort of banquet or, conference,
grocery store.
melon is
Yeah.
one.
I'd head to Walmart, and all of a sudden I'm rubbing up against the bagging boy. I don't know that that's a good thing in my life, So yeah, I'm going for the music.
Yeah. I think the music, definitely the music.
Yeah.
Well, heck, as a man, it'd be perfect for my wife to have that problem, because then I would actually know when she's in the mood. So that would always be beneficial.
You probably just slip her some melon every now and then.
Exactly. Exactly.
Would you rather have skin that tans upon hearing the voice of Al Gore, or be able to make Amish people breakdance?
Oh, Amish people breakdance.
That would be fun.
I think it would too. I just never see Amish people.
I'm like used to being white, so I'm okay with being white. So
Yeah, there aren't that many Amish people around. We've got decent-sized Mennonite community. I don't know if that would count because they kind of look like Amish people, but that would be fun just to see, Jebediah break out a backspin. So I've got a friend who went up to the Amish country with a church group and met an Amish woman, and he's married, but she invited him and his wife over for dinner, and they all hit it off so much that she invited them back to spend their vacation with her. So they went and spent like 3 or 4 days with her.
Wow.
And it was great. They had a great time. They said, you need to do that with us. You need to come on down with us. And so they ended up getting a letter from her, and she informed them when she was coming, and she brought 16 people in her family to come stay with them for like 4 days. So at that point you've got this clash of cultures. Luckily he lives in a big house, but he didn't have enough room for food for all these people, so because they didn't go out to eat or anything. So he had pounds and pounds of bacon and like hundreds of eggs, and they had pre-cooked all this stuff, and he had a blast. But I couldn't imagine just opening up my door to 16 Amish people. So
Me either.
It'd be really cool. I think it would be harder in the opposite direction, because I feel like I would want to accommodate. Like, if you're like, oh, I'll not turn on the lights and get I wouldn't know how to approach that. I think given time it would be the sort of thing that maybe I could do, but I feel like I would very awkwardly try and avoid using electricity, and then realize that I've been using it the whole time or something anyway.
Yeah, like no microwave to heat up your food, or even at that point, do you even use your electric oven?
Right.
We have a gas oven, and
I'm still going to use hot water. Sorry,
Yeah. I'm not that good with like fire, so can't really help you.
But kind of got off topic there. My fault.
No, it's topics are very, they're like suggestions.
Gotcha.
I would like to make pizza on a fire. We could eat pizza every day.
That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I love pizza.
I've warmed up pizza over a fire. That was good.
Sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
There's this pizza place where I'm from. They have like all-you-can-eat pizza for $6, and you just have to get a drink with it. And we ate like 3 large pizzas. It was so good.
Oh man. We had in college there was one place that was like an all-you-can-eat type thing, and they had different. It was this huge room, and they had different portions of the room where they'd have different dishes that they would make and whatever. And most of the time it was absolute garbage, because it's food on a college campus is usually garbage. A couple times a year they would have like a kids and siblings weekend, or siblings, yeah, whatever. They'd invite the families over. So this was when your parents would come and check out your school and whatever, and then suddenly the food there was great. And because it was an all-you-can-eat type thing, and there were tables and whatever, you would just go in the morning, pay for breakfast, which was quite a bit cheaper than the other meals, and just stay the entire day. And it was good then, but I think they knew what they were doing, because the place was full enough on most days, but the food wasn't good enough usually to merit staying there for more than one meal. I think that was planned.
No, because there was Northwestern during the summer where I went to school. They'll actually come in and Northwestern will have their practices there. And like for them to have practice, it's like they pay like $1 million or something to actually like host it, to use our facilities. And all of a sudden, like during that time, there will be like steaks available, all these really nice meals that nobody else can get. You're stuck getting like chicken tenders and like maybe the occasional like sandwich salads, but then Northwestern comes and they have steaks, like pork loin, like all of this really great stuff just because they pay a little bit extra money.
Nice. Probably a bit of extra money.
Yeah, $1 million worth. So I guess I'd want that too.
If you could script the basic plot for the dream you'll have tonight, what would the story be? Whoever wants to jump on that one.
I'm gonna be just running down a long hall with a bunch of doors. I'm be looking for Julie, because I'm gonna show up. She's supposed to be here, and she's not here, and so I would be looking for Julie the whole time. Maybe ask for Josh once or twice, because he stood us up tonight too. So I'll be looking for people that I expect to see on a Tuesday night.
I'll have her walk over for a second and say hi. How about you, Annie?
I don't know. I spent a lot of time looking for food today. So I actually, like, if you look at my work computer history, it's like this food, like, where can I get delivery? And, like, I don't know, just so I'd probably be trying to find food and driving around town, finding it. And then I went back to help somebody today with, like, money, so I might have, like, a dream about the people that I saw that I used to go to school with. That might be it. I don't know. Usually my dreams are about, like, weird stuff, because, like, for a while I kept having a dream that, like, one of my good friends and his roommate, like, we got trapped by, like, ISIS in, like, a water park. And we kept, like, going around, like, these water slides, like, avoiding people in ISIS. And that was, like, a dream that I had more than once. And I would tell them, I was like, oh, I had a dream that we got kidnapped by ISIS again. And then, like, we drove out of, like, this parking garage, like, an Escalade. And, like, just we're rushing. Like, we're like, oh, forget everyone else, even if we know them. We're leaving.
Well, if you're going to be chased by ISIS, at least, you could be getting a tan and
Right.
enjoying the water slides. I mean,
Right. That was like Six Flags, but with ISIS.
So were you, like, on one of those tubes on the lazy river, and they were just a couple tubes back from you? And
Yeah, it was kind of
We'll
like
never catch you.
like there was like this really long twirly slide, and then like the ISIS people, like I saw them coming, and then so somehow it was like I somehow like finagled the little tube to like pop off and become like a like little cart to go to like the little go-karts, and then like I ran into like my friend's Escalade. So
all the lifeguards are blowing their whistles. Stop running! Stop running!
right. I was like, ISIS is here. Doesn't everyone know that ISIS is here? And like nobody cared, except like me and my 3 friends.
Just got a vision of all these Muslim guys with the zinc, sun protection on their nose, maybe a snorkel.
Right. Just running around, chasing us.
The idea of anyone chasing you while wearing a snorkel. That's maybe flippers too. That'd be even better.
Right.
You know they were. You just hear like the Darth Vader breathing, but then flop 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 flop.
Flop, flop, flop.
Oh no.
Running around with like the floaty, you know how they have like the arm floaties, like trying to get you.
Oh,
Maybe
this
a rubber ducky tube around them.
Yeah.
perfect.
Good stuff. Somewhere ISIS has found this video, and they're coming after all of us.
Right.
So,
They invaded my subconscious.
there you go. So when you guys have dreams about friends, family, whatever, and you see them the next day, do you tell them? Dude, we totally hung out last night. Let me tell you,
It depends on what the dream is, because I don't want it to be like a really creepy dream and then be like, what's going on? But if it's like a really bizarre one, like I'll text message my friends and they'll be like, what? And then they'll like send me their dreams that are really weird too. Like, I don't get it.
I've had one time where I've ended up texting or emailing a friend or whatever that I hadn't, well, an old friend that I hadn't seen in years, and there was just, I had this dream where they, all this awful stuff was happening to them, and then it was very realistic, and it was very like, it wasn't even that it was just starting to happen, it was that it had been happening for however long, and it was starting to become apparent that these things had been happening, and so I ended up texting or emailing them, whatever, and saying, are you okay? Is everything going okay for you? I know we haven't talked in a few years, but
God spoke to me in a dream. Now I need to come talk to you.
oh, it was just so real, and it was enough to make me think, like, oh, that one stuck with me.
I know my mom has dreamed that my dad was cheating on her once or twice, and she'd wake up in the middle of the night and start smacking him with her pillow. Because she'd be mad.
I've had Julie kick me in the middle of the night. Like, I will still be awake because I have a hard time falling asleep sometimes. So I'll still be awake, and she will have been asleep for a while, and then suddenly she'll just kick me or hit me or whatever. What? You were grumbling at me. No, I wasn't. I was awake. I was reading a book.
Tell stories about me.
I can tell that.
No, wait, don't.
Hey, you should come over here and say hi.
Oh, why? So, like, yeah, grumbling at you?
No. We have an agreement that neither one of us is responsible for what we do while sleeping.
Mm.
And it's a good agreement to have.
See, now I'm complete. I'm happy now.
Oh, good. Won't be in your dreams tonight.
Yeah. We're talking about dreams, and so I said that my dream would be me showing up at a hall with a bunch of doors, and I just open a door and I go, Julie, where are you? And so now I see you. I'm good. I'll be able to sleep well tonight.
I'm glad that was easy enough for me to wander off the couch. I'm being an old lady, I'm knitting.
Do what?
I said I'm being an old lady, I'm knitting.
Oh, well, someone's got to keep that market going, so I'm glad you're there for them.
The middle one wanted leg warmers, so I thought I'd knit her some leg warmers for gymnastics.
But you know what? I don't have any leg warmers. I would love for you to make me some leg warmers.
All right. Do you want them striped or would you like them solid?
Oh, no, I definitely want it. Well, would stripe be too much of an inconvenience for you? Because I don't want it to be a difficult thing. But if you could make me some red and black ones, I would totally wear some red leg warmers.
All right. Better measure yourself and knee to ankle then. Might be a couple months, but...
Okay, done.
Just in time for winter.
That's what I'm saying. All right.
Perfect.
Enjoy.
We're doing questions from previous shows.
I heard
And
you
then a couple
ask
of other
about...
ones.
I was like, those all sound very familiar.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I'm off.
Okay.
What's the rounder got?
We've got a tape measure.
Oh, good.
You need ankles 16 inches.
16 inches? All right. Got it. I'm on it.
Cool.
All right.
Why are you so long?
Because he's not 4. For our daughter, it works out really well. The leg warmers are like this long.
It'd be like our arm warmer.
Yeah, there'd be ankle warmers at that point.
Yeah, 4-year-olds just don't have very long lower legs. And by the time there's like a band on the top and a band on the bottom, it's really cool though. It's really cool, and she really likes it too.
Awesome.
Oh, this one would be kind of. How about this? Would it disturb you if, upon your death, your body were simply thrown into the woods and left to rot?
No, wouldn't bother me. I'll be done with it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say outside of the idea of if it's a part of the woods where some kid's gonna find it or something, I wouldn't like that. Or if
Yeah.
it's yeah, that's really it. If someone can use organs or whatever, I'd rather they do that. But yeah, I don't need anything special. I'm,
Yeah, I mean, put me in an oven, cook me, and throw me in an urn, and put the ashes where you want them. You know, I'd like a place for the kids to come visit, but it doesn't have to be a cemetery. You know, just I'm good.
Susan R. is demanding pictures of you wearing these leg warmers and of you knitting them. So
That's
we'll have to follow through with this.
That'll be the 50th episode.
right.
That's 2 weeks. I think
I
that's
don't
a
think
tall
you can
order.
pull that off.
I'll tell her to start knitting that.
I'll even pay for the shipping. You know.
She's got one more knitting project before that too.
Now I can wait patiently. That's not a problem.
Excellent. Here, your particularly unpleasant neighbor has a particularly unpleasant child. Would you be willing to accept a year of paralysis below the neck to prevent the certain death of that child? Assume that the recovery is instantaneous and your neighbor would never know.
Okay, what below the neck?
Paralysis.
Paralysis.
Yep, neck down, full-on quadriplegic for a year. And your neighbor will never know, so they will continue to be particularly unpleasant to you anyway.
Yeah, you got to do it. You don't want to do it, but you got to do it.
I just would make sure that somebody kept moving me so I wouldn't get bed sores. Like, I'd have to have somebody take care of me. Because, like, there's a lot of suffering that goes on. Like, if you're just laying there for a year.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a lot of suffering in, like, the meantime.
Yeah, it's sad to say, but you know, my kids, like any other kid in the world today, they're so entitled to stuff. If for some reason they had to take care of me to that extent for a year, it would probably be so good for them, and they would learn so much from it. That again, it would suck so bad, but I mean, I could see good would come out of it, other than just the kid keeps kicking over there. So. Yeah, just for the fact that I mean, I'd even say that if it was to save a life, I'd go paralysis permanent. But
Really? Because that was a different question to ask, and I had wondered about that. And would there be some kind of an issue with years of life? Would
No,
you
I just watched
take
Million Dollar Baby, so.
would you take paralysis for the rest of your life, even like from the waist down or something, for someone who's going to live for 5 years?
would I? Okay, so would I theoretically spend the next 30 years of my life and possibly shorten my life as a quadra or paraplegic if I only bought 5 years of their life?
Yes.
That'd probably depend on the person.
Yeah, it depends what they do for, you know what I mean, 5 years, for the next 5 years. Yeah.
I was going to say, and then the follow-up would have been, where's the cutoff?
Yeah. That.
Luckily, it's the sort of thing you'll never have to have an answer to, but
God, my head hurts. You make me think. Ugh.
I don't know, I think the first one, it wouldn't be, I don't know, I feel like if you're kind of tucked away for a little bit, the neighbor won't bother you that much. So it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I'd probably do the first one.
yeah.
Like doing it just for a year for the kid.
Yeah, think all the Netflix you could catch up on. I mean,
Right.
a year is just not terrible.
I mean, years go by pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That's like you could watch all the football you wanted, all the sports. Like, there's a lot of stuff on TV if you really think about it. I could be like an expert movie reviewer.
I'd have a really big difficulty with it because for a lot of things, a year from now will be, at least some kind of similar. Um, my kids are really young, and a year with that is, I mean,
Yeah, that's a big thing.
for my one daughter, that's half of her life,
Yeah.
and that's a big change. That's a big year to miss.
Well, and you're the breadwinner, right?
Yeah.
So that you got to think about that too. The money stops coming in.
So it becomes a really hard question or a hard thing logistically,
Mm-hmm.
but
But
I,
if you're saving a life, you
I
kind of
know
do what you got to do. You know.
oh, it'd be hard, and I think it'd be even more hard with that neighbor continuing to be nasty to you
Mm-hmm.
throughout and afterwards, because that's not the sort of thing that you can tell them later, and
Right.
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's one of those things you just sit back and know. I guess another jewel in my crown when I get to heaven. That type of thing.
And also depends how unpleasant they are. You know what I mean? How do you define unpleasant? Like I don't know, like some of my neighbors, like they don't cut their lawn, and that's like really irritating to me. Or like, are we duking it out every day, like screaming at each other every day? There's like
well,
different degrees of how
yeah,
unpleasant you are.
that's true. That's true, and I pretty deliberately tried to keep it open-ended. Um, Here's one. You were offered a chance to go back in time and change a decision you made. As a result, your life from that point onward is erased, and you get a second shot at it. You've already decided to accept, and you chose a rather impactful decision. You are now offered a choice. Would you like to remember your erased life?
That's a tough question once you have kids, because
I
if you go
decided,
to before those kids, there's no way you're going to have the same kids.
right?
So I've already made the decision. So I'd
Yeah,
say at that
because I
point
think
it depends
anyone
on.
honest with themselves is going to say they're not going to change something huge necessarily, or they're going to change everything. But would you remember?
I think I would want to remember. I do. I don't know why. I would just think that I would want to remember and hope that some good would come out of me changing that decision.
I'm sure I'd want to remember. I'm sure there would be days that I would look back and want to forget, but I'd want to remember overall. Though I think it'd be really painful sometimes too.
Yeah, like birthdays. But I mean, the the kid issue, and if I ended up getting married to somebody else, that would be an issue as well. But those would be the biggest things.
Annie, are you?
Well, the first thing that came up is like comparison is the thief of joy. I don't know if I'd want to remember my past life. Like if I enjoyed certain things about it, like what had happened since that decision, having like done it over. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to be able to compare the two. Because I think that would personally make me like a little bit more upset than I would normally be.
But okay, let's say you had to go back and redo high school. Wouldn't it be nice to have the amount of knowledge that you have now, so you wouldn't have to study as hard going back through high school?
I didn't really study that much in high school. Truthfully, no, but I don't know. I didn't mind high school. Things like that. I don't know. I kind of liked like the messiness of it, and I feel like it couldn't get really. I don't know how worse it could get. Like I feel like it'd be like enjoyable, like regardless. If like the same people were there, or even people who are similar. Like I feel like it wouldn't be that bad. I don't know, I feel like I'm pretty adaptable, so I can figure things out as I go.
Sure.
I just probably wouldn't want to know though. I wouldn't have anything to really compare it to. So I'm like more of a YOLO person, so I want to keep up with that.
Yeah, if I had to go back to high school, I would definitely want my memories because then I'd know which girls to ask out, which girls not to ask out, which ones I knew were going to say yes. So that's a whole lot of anxiety I wouldn't have to deal with. I would remember not to watch certain movies because they really were bad, and to watch others. And
Yeah.
I know there's some things maybe I'd like to remember. Like I remember one time I found like Peter Pan's on a trampoline, but like stuff like that. But there has to be other things like that that'll take its place that are equally as enjoyable to like watch or experience.
Right. Yeah, I think before getting married and having kids, I would have said that I didn't need to remember,
hmm
but that changed it for me to yeah, I'd want to remember.
yeah,
It's been too good to forget.
right. I guess it's kind of the same question. If your wife and kids were in a car accident and they all died, would you want to take a pill and forget that they ever existed?
Right.
I don't think you would.
But you should pull that one.
I should pull that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting, and I think you've got the right sorts of followers to make it more interesting.
Okay.
Let's call it. We're at like an hour and a half or so.
Oh wow.
Well, it's amazing how much fun you can have when you get rid of all the dead weight. On the. I'm sorry, that's supposed to be on the inside. Sorry, you too. If you go back.
That's what she said.
And, uh, we should do this again. It's fun doing small groups, and it's fun doing these kinds of questions too.
hmm
So
I like these questions.
excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, we'll call that for this week, and I'll say goodbye to everyone. Thank you both for being on, and we'll see everyone next week for number 49.
All right.